Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now March 6th of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans have been very worried or curious or even excited about the future of Star Wars by Disney and Lucasfilm and exactly how they are going to handle the future of the Star Wars franchise as we go throughout this entire decade. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that we do know about the future of Star Wars is that both Disney and Lucasfilm have a lot of plans in place to really restructure the franchise from the ground up. They are really trying their absolute best in order to really kind of give us a different take on Star Wars, give us a different tone on the franchise than we have ever seen before by George Lucas or by Disney Star Wars previously. And this really is something very ambitious by Disney CEO Bob Chapek. Bob Chapek is the brand new CEO that took over as, of course, Bob Iger, who stepped down a couple of days ago. Very big deal here, the fact that we are going into a new era of Star Wars, not just literally speaking through stories, but also through the business perspective from Disney and Lucasfilm and how they're going to treat the Star Wars franchise moving forward. Now, on top of all of this, what's really intriguing about Star Wars is that we do know that these new eras are going to be carefully handled by, of course, Bob Chapek and the new creatives on board over at Lucasfilm. And a lot of this has all to do with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, etc., etc. Now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with the Skywalker Saga, they are moving on to their new Star Wars universe, such as their new trilogy of films and even Disney Plus and more. It's explained that Disney has multiple plans in order to reunite the fans around the world after the disappointment of the sequel trilogy films from many of the dedicated fans. It's explained that Disney CEO Bob Chapek is allowing both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to steer Star Wars into the right direction for the fans, where it's explained that Disney and Lucasfilm have a plan for Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau to continue the Skywalker Saga in several ways to create a better future for Star Wars. Now, it's explained that Dave Filoni is going to be in charge of continuing the Skywalker Saga, not just with the Kenobi TV series, of exploring the lives of an 8-year-old Luke and Leia on Tatooine and Alderaan, but that Dave Filoni is said to also have a large say in the matter of the young Luke Skywalker TV series that is in very early development that will focus on Luke's path to becoming a Jedi Master. It's noted that Dave Filoni will also be in charge of Ben Solo's return in an untitled post-The Rise of Skywalker project for Disney Plus, and that they want Adam Driver to return as well. This may be the Rise of Skywalker sequel series that will be in animated form or something completely new for the future. However, the big project that Dave Filoni is working on is by introducing many of the Star Wars Legends stories of Luke Skywalker into the mix by making him the most powerful Jedi there is, and that Dave wants to bring back more than half of the Star Wars Legends content of Luke Skywalker from the 90s except thrown into different timelines to fit with Disney. Filoni is said to have a plan in place in order to bring in Luke's wife and even son into the mix, creating a major retcon for Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars franchise. So, the thing about Dave Filoni is that we do know that he loves Star Wars Legends, and he wants to respect what was done by George, and what George had approved back in the 1990s and the early 2000s. Now, this really is a big deal because when you look at Disney Star Wars, a lot of fans have been very frustrated with how Luke was handled by, of course, Kathleen Kennedy, Rian Johnson, etc., and exactly how they just wanted to treat the character of Luke overall, right? So now that we're heading into, the later part of 2020, we're pretty much done with the first quarter. As we go through the second quarter, getting closer to Star Wars Celebration, we're going to be learning more and more about the future of Star Wars. It's going to be quite a very exciting ride to see what the change is really going to feel like to us, the Star Wars fans, that'll finally set in 2021, 2022, and so on and so forth, where you're going to see this massive shift because of Bob Chapek, the new Disney CEO, and the new creatives on board over at Lucasfilm. Now, the thing about this, though, in particular, of Dave Filoni bringing back a majority of Star Wars Legends stories of Luke Skywalker in different ways, I think that this honestly is a very good move by Dave Filoni in order to respect the character of Luke and to really change the character of Skywalker again. I know some of you out there are very much against the High Republic. Some of you out there may very well love the High Republic era. And that is just one example of just one of the new eras that they will be exploring. Another era that they do want to explore is, of course, an era in which Luke had a wife and a son, and there's even been talks of them creating an actual story about the tragedy of Luke's family. Now, I'm not quite sure how a lot of fans would really react to that, or if fans would go up against that, but nonetheless, we would have a story about Luke's wife and son, though because the actual Disney Star Wars movies exist, it seems like that they have to kind of, base it around those movies, since Luke's wife and son are not present in those movies, and it's not even explained in, the most remote way. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.